friends, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to The Sims 4, and welcome to another speed build. We're doing something kind of fun and different we don't do a lot of today. We're doing a base game build, and I wanted to do a little bit of like a mid-century mid-mod in Oasis Springs, because I don't build in Oasis Springs a lot, and I love this style, but I don't build a ton of it on the channel. I do like mid-mod decorating and stuff a fair amount, but I don't do like a full, like, looks like maybe a resto mod of a house kind of thing, right? So we're starting here with me just kind of laying it out, making sure the layout that I kind of had in my head works approximately. Like, the furniture doesn't necessarily have to stay where it was, but I was like, I kind of want to make sure like I can get some toys in, a dresser, some beds, a master bedroom with like a dresser and a bed, that kind of thing, right? Well, I should know by now how things fit. I still don't. I still have to see it. Visual learner over here. And then I wanted to start kind of laying out the windows and make sure I had like an idea so that it wasn't like fighting with the windows, things like that. And I knew I wanted it to be totally base game. And to my knowledge, it is totally base game. I have not been able to put it up on the gallery yet because I have not had internet really for the last few days. Like, it's kind of been okay and it's kind of been like not okay, and it's like fighting me at work. Y'all, I had a download that usually takes about an hour. It's a big old database like backup, right? But usually takes about an hour. Like, the promise today was 12 hours, and I was like, holy. So obviously when I try to load up the gallery, it just goes, it spins, right? So because I can't really like save it to my library or like get the gallery to do anything, I don't know for certain that it's base game, but I tried really, really hard. So if you see something that's not base game, just know when it goes up in the gallery, that will change. But I think everything's base game. I'm like reasonably certain everything's base game. If something's not base game, it is most likely a clutter object or potentially a wallpaper, because those are the things that I like do the eye picker on the most, and the eye picker clears your filters, which is kind of a bummer. So those were the places where I got like most messed up, where I would notice my filters were on. Anyways, I'm pretty sure it's a base game build, and it will be when it goes up on the gallery. And I think it turned out really cute. It's got that pretty standard mid-mod roofline, especially for the desert. I was really leaning into the desert, and it does have a big old skylight in it, which I love. It did make lighting a little bit weird, but we rolled with it. It works okay. And to be honest with you, in real life, I think we'd put up with the weird lighting for the amazing skylight, although I live in the high desert. So I can tell you with certainty this would also scare the crap out of me, because hail is a thing. So it would have to be some very, very strong glass, because hail. We actually have, well, I guess it could be plastic. I was going to say we have plastic skylights because we get hail. And it's weird too, because like, okay, this sheltered little Pacific Northwesterner over here. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, where it is like kind of the same temperature and kind of the same color all year long, right? There's some variances, but like if you've ever been to Seattle, you know, like 360 days out of the year, it's kind of a gray, kind of drizzly, about 50 to 60 degrees. And then there's like 5 days out of the year where it's the bluest skies you've ever seen, and sunny, and like just gorgeous and like amazing. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is why I live here. And then it goes back to another 360 days of gray. It's fine. I loved living there. I'm also glad I live somewhere else now. Get to experience new things. Anyways, the point I was making is I didn't experience a lot of extreme weather. And when we did, it was always like an event, like it was an emergency. Like when we had like our 100-year storm and like the wind blew the roof off the house and stuff, that was a once in a while thing. High damaging winds happen here all the time. Like, I've recorded videos where you can just hear thunder rolling in the background, and like sometimes when it's close, I acknowledge it because it still feels kind of new to me. But like, you just go about your day. Like, thunder happens all of the time. High winds happen. Like, we have a lot of the time, like, sustained winds of 20 plus, and it's just a Tuesday. Crazy. So hail is, like, a thing that happens fairly commonly. And one of the things that kind of blew my mind is it hails in the summertime. I know that's such a dumb thing, right? Like, yeah, Amanda, no duh. If you get a cloud that can produce that, you're going to get hail. But y'all, the first time it hailed in July, I was like, what is this? Hail is ice. But dude, we get some violent storms. Anyways, off topic. The point I was making is that skylight would scare me actually in the desert, because if you get some really violent storms, just having like a big glass sheet for hail to hit would be concerning. regardless, now we're working on the outside here. The entryway is a little sparse because I really did struggle with the entryway a little bit with the base game, only because like there's not a lot of wall things in base game that feel outdoorsy, right? Like there's not a lot of like wall plants or things like that, so that was a little hard. And then here's this kitchen. I adore this kitchen. It turns out so cute. I love these new base game cabinets, and this was kind of like the like kicker for this, like why I wanted to do base game, because we've gotten so many cool base game updates that I was like, I wonder if I can do something different than what I normally do with base game, because it's been a while. I think it's been about a year since I've done a base game build. And you can do so many cool things with base game as it's growing. Like, don't get me wrong, you can do things, you could do things with like the 2014 base game, but like it has really gotten good in the last like few months here. And in the middle of this build, we got the latest update, which is probably gonna be old news by the time you see this, but it had like a bunch of really beautiful, I believe it's West African inspired pieces. You'll see some of them in the house. I had a lot of it done before those pieces entered my game, so you see less than you would in other builds. And in fact, I have a build coming up next that is in a living room 2 ways that uses almost exclusively those things, because it was like a test of those things. They're absolutely stunning. But my point is, we keep getting like these really amazing base game things, so I was like, let's do a base game build. And the clutter leaves a little to be desired. I'm not gonna lie to you. The clutter leaves a little bit to be desired. But also, the style of house we were doing didn't need like a ton of clutter, right? Like the style of house we're doing feels very chill. Some of the stuff I did use, I will say, it is all base game, but like you'll notice the hot chocolate doohickey on the drinks tray. That is base game, but that was a reward for an event. I believe it was the Christmas event the hot chocolate came in. So I do use those. I consider those base game because it is my understanding, and this would be really hard for me to test because I have them, right? It is my understanding that even if you did not complete the event, you can go on the gallery and get those things. So you can search, like, I don't remember the name of the event now, unfortunately. I was about to say the Back to the Future event. That is not correct. The like time travel event with Emmett. You can search those on the gallery, and my understanding is even with base game, even if you didn't unlock those, you can still access those in game because they're in your game, they're just not unlocked. So I believe you will be able to download this with that and with those different rewards. So I do use the reward items. I consider them base game. If you don't, I don't think that many of them in here. You might just notice like the drinks tray is gone, and that might be it. We'll see. Here's where I started kind of realizing I wanted to do things a little bit brighter. I did the blue kitchen. I was like, I want a little bit of a statement kitchen, and I love the blue kitchen. And then I was like, well, what if I did yellow dining chairs? But I was worried about it becoming a little bit nautical too. So I was like, okay, let's be careful about it being nautical. And then I was like, well, what if we did like greens and yellows and blues? Because that feels very fun to me. This is another reward item. I actually lied to you. This frame TV is a reward item. I cannot remember which. I think it was also the Christmas event. The Christmas event was dope, dude, in terms of reward items. You should have this, I believe, in game. If I am wrong, please correct me. And a normal TV would fit there just fine. Here we're starting to lean into the greens and the wood tones a little bit more. I adore this living room. This living room is so cute. Okay, I lied to you. Those pillows are also a reward. There's gonna be a lot of reward items. They had some good items. Just kind of leaning into the funky fun colors here. Pulling in the blues from the kitchen. Sticking with kind of yellows, greens, and blues. I really, really like those. Little pops of pink here, but like very subtle pinks. Just kind of having fun with color while it's still feeling kind of neutral was the vibe. That was like the hope. And trying to like use items that I don't always use. Trying to use items that maybe I gravitate away from because there's something in a pack that like would be like maybe a little bit better. Because like what happens when you have like packs and stuff too is your favorite items become the ones you build with all the time. And I think that's so fair, but like I want to challenge myself occasionally to go back and like try new things, and sometimes restricting packs and things like that is a really cool way to do that. I did, however, use like my favorite lamp, which is base game, and will just always be my favorite lamp. And the funny thing is the swatch is like a bright yellow, but because of the way the shade works, it's just absolutely so pretty. Here I was showing my brother. Sorry, I thought I had cut that out, but I hadn't. But I was showing my brother. Oh, here's where we got those pieces. That's not actually a base game item. It was just something new, so I was checking it real fast. Those are valances that were supposed to come with adventure weights, and they didn't, and then just gave them to us, so that's why they were marked new. So I was just like checking them out. They don't tile great, which is unfortunate. The wood grain is not seamless, which is a bit of a bummer. So you can't make like a really nice wood beam. Oh, you would just have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, which is like fine. But here we're back to using base game stuff. Putting a little stuff by the door, just kind of making it, because there is kind of like a little bit of an awkward entryway situation, and you can't do a lot with it because the skylight over the top, like you can't hang like a lamp or anything like that. And this I set up as a kid's room. Realistically, if I was playing in this would probably immediately get swapped to an office to start, because I would probably like start with a single sim and do their office, and then like get married and then have kids, and then it would swap to a kid's room. And then I would probably like slowly think about either expanding this house, probably going out back. I think putting an extension on the back would maybe be where I would go with this, or going up, potentially up, because you could put stairs where the bathroom is and make like a half bath. Either way, not important here. I did end up going with a kids room because I don't do kids rooms a ton. I tend to not do them a lot. Here I was trying to put a little lamp on the headboard. Yeah, I couldn't make that work. So I ended up giving each of them a little like nightstand shelf, which I thought was a cute idea. I did size the shelves down, which meant none of the slots worked the way I wanted them to. Also, I have beef with that bed set, the bunk beds, because there is the cutest swatch in the bunk bed. There's like this really pretty green swatch that I wanted to use, and I had this whole idea around a room with that green swatch that I ended up not being able to do because the lower bed does not have the same green swatch. What is that? What? They're the same set. Why does it not have the green swatch? How? Why? I don't know. Oh my goodness. So I was kind of imagining maybe like two tweens, or like a teen and a tween, or like a teen and like older kid, right? In this room. So there's like some toys, there's some fun stuff, but also like a little bit more teen styled stuff. Also, maybe this could be like a single kids room who has friends over all the time. You can do sleepovers now, so having a second bed would be cool. I had a friend who had a big old room because she was like the only kid in the basement, and so she had like basically the whole basement, and she had like a second bed for sleepovers, and like her mom would not let us use them. It was the weirdest thing. Like, she had her bed and the other bed, and like she was the only girl, so like that other bed never got used. But when we would have sleepovers, she would have to go to her bed, and I would always end up on the couch. And they had a guest room too. I'm very confused by this. We were like 8. I don't know why. Anyways, we're not gonna like, it's fine. Anyways, now we're on to the master bedroom. The master bedroom is probably my least favorite room of the house. Not because I think it's like completely ugly, just because this was where I was really starting to struggle with a color story, because I didn't necessarily just want to remake the living room or remake the kids room. There's a lot of really good blues in the base game, but I was trying to not do like just only blues, and so I started struggling with that. And then because I wanted to use this new bed, but I wanted to use it. Not that I don't think the pride colors are awesome. They were just kind of bright for the rest of the house. Like, they didn't feel like congruent with the rest of the house. So I was like, well, I can use this really cute bed, but I can just use it in the white swatch. That's a way to kind of use it, but make it still feel congruent. And unfortunately, that meant that I ended up with light woods, and there's not a lot of great light woods that match in the base game. So I ended up in kind of this weird pattern where it was like, nothing really matches, nothing really fits, like trying to find how I wanted to do this. And you don't have to have matching wood tones, but like that was kind of the vibe. Ugh, and also mirrors in the base game. Okay, the two kind of downsides of this. Light woods, mirrors. Neither exist very well in the base game, in my humble opinion. And I was still trying to go with like that very like deserty, mid-mod, like vaguely retro futurism, but like more just like, I don't know, Star Trek. You know, that like vague minimalistic hope for the future. That was still the vibe in here, and I wanted it to be very calming because it is a bedroom. So, least favorite room of the house. Don't think it's bad, just don't love it. Also, any build I get into, by like the bedrooms, by like the end of it, by like the backyard, I'm over it, usually. It's very rare that I like the bedrooms more than the living room and kitchen, because by the time I get to the bedrooms, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, I'm out of ideas. You know, I had a vibe for the main space. I don't know, for the bedroom. I don't know what that is about me. So, like, looking at it now, I'm like, no, it's a perfectly fine bedroom. But, like, by the time I was done with it, I was like, I'm over this. I did put some plant pots in the back. They're not covered, so they won't, like, matter with seasons so much. But if you're playing base game, you don't have to worry about seasons. And now we're into the screenshots. And I really like the way this turned out. I'm really, really happy with it. And I'm actually really excited to play in this house. So you'll have to let me know what you think. Next up, I have a kind of more of a base game build. It's like a base game plus because I'm doing a living room 2 ways base game and not, which I think is kind of fun. And I actually think I like the base game better in that one. So stay tuned. But I think I'm gonna let you go because I've been talking your ear off. I hope you're having a good day and you're feeling loved. And if you're not feeling loved, please know that I love you. I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you're here hanging out. You make the world a better place just by being you. Yeah, next up we're gonna do a couple more builds and then we're gonna figure some stuff out. I think that's all for me. Okay, love you, bye. Mwah.